Okay, so welcome everybody to our Topical Tuesday today. Again, we are going over grant writing with our very own Kimberly Bauer. If you have not already, please go ahead and sign in. You can use the link. I will put the link again in the chat box, or you can use the QR code on the screen to sign in. This is how we will be collecting your attendance, not only through just our Topical Tuesdays, but all of our different trainings as well. It's showing all the school support and who's attending for all the things that we're doing. So I'll give it one moment for you to be able to sign in. And again, if you don't have a chance to sign in, I will put it in the chat box and you can refer back to it if you need to as you're coming in. All right. So again, there are a lot of us on this meet today. If you are not the one talking or you don't have a question, please make sure that you utilize the mute button on the bottom of the screen. And if you do have a question, just go ahead and hit that hand button and Kimberly will get to you as quickly as she can, or answer all the questions at the end after her presentation is over. So like I said, today Kimberly is going to be presenting on this from Library Media Services. So Kimberly, whenever you're ready, you may share your screen and then just let me know and I will take over when you're done presenting.
All right. We're glad everybody came today. Let's see. We're glad everyone came today and is here to find out the basics about grant writing. This is not an advanced grant writing course. It's just the basics. So before we get started, if I could have you put an emoji if you have never written a grant before for your media center. And then if you have written a grant and gotten a grant, give me an emoji, because we may have some other experts in the field. And there's always something new to learn about grant writing. All right. Grants are funds that are awarded by organizations or government agencies to support specific projects or initiatives. So if you have something that you want to bring into your media center that's outside of your typical budget, then you might want to consider writing a grant. It's not required. There's nothing written anywhere that says you must apply for grants. But sometimes if you want to be able to do something and bring it to your media center, this is a way to acquire resources and materials for your programs. So we're going to talk a little bit about why you should write grants and the steps in the process to writing a grant. So the first step is going to be identifying the need, research funding opportunities, read the guidelines, develop a proposal, plan the budget, proofread, and submit. We're going to go through all of these steps. And it's going to be rather quick today, just because of our time. So the first thing you want to do is identify the need, determine the problem you're trying to solve. If you have written a grant and you got a grant and you want to share in the chat box what your grant was for, that would give some people more ideas. Diverse books. this year we have some great robotics on your 3070 that you can select. But if you didn't have funding available for that, then possibly robotics might be something. If you want to 8430, I'm sorry. Laura Bush grant is one of the ones that I got in our media center, and it gave us $5,000 to select books. And I wanted to increase the age of our collection and also get Sunshine State titles because it was a Title I school and it was hard to get the funds to have enough books for the kids to read. Mary Pope Osborne, Magic Tree House books, Olympic themed. Okay, so once you've identified your need, then you're going to research the sources of grants. So if you're looking to get a grant for books, then Laura Bush Foundation would be one of your options. But if you're looking for robotics, you would not want to apply for the Laura Bush Foundation because they are specific to the kinds of projects that they will fund. And so you want to research the sources of grants that like to provide funds for the project that you want to do. We have a spreadsheet, library grant opportunities, and I try to keep that updated. If you know of other grants, then you can let me know and we'll add it to our opportunities spreadsheet. April is a good person to reach out to if you have questions about grants. She's written many and willing to share her expertise. Research online databases such as grants.gov, Inside Philanthropy. Visit the reference department. If you're old school and you want to sit down with a huge book, the Annual Register of Grant Support is available in the main branch of the Palm Beach County Library System. And it lists a lot of grants and breaks it down by area. So the first thing you want to do, carefully review the requirements and the instructions for each grant opportunity. One of my best grant writing tips is to confirm your eligibility before you begin the process of writing the application. It is a time-consuming process. It involves strategizing, it involves creating a budget and a timeline for your project. So there's a lot of time involved in putting together a grant request. So confirm that the company or organization that you're applying to considers your project eligible for what they are willing to provide funds for. So step 4 is to develop a proposal. You need to give yourself time for thorough research and planning. Tailor the grant application to the specific requirements. Another good tip is to write a compelling narrative outlining the need. Talk about the resources that you need that the grant could provide, and let the grant funder become aware of the opportunity for them in helping to meet the needs of your students. And of course, the impact that it will have on students. Keep in mind the value of storytelling. Let them know you're going to have a lot of technical information in your grant proposal, but you also want to have some storytelling, some way to let them see your humanity, your students' faces, and how the funds would increase their engagement and their education and would improve your library programming. Help them visualize it. And if you have anyone else that's going to work with you, it's good to mention that. There are some funders who prefer that you collaborate with other people at the school when you're doing your project. So you're going to include I saw somebody said keep current data handy. You're going to include demographic data, student populations, academic performance, if it's a Title I school, to show the need for the resources, the student diversity, achievement levels, and that can strengthen your grant proposal because the grant funders will be looking at a lot of applications. So you want to include information in a compelling way that will make your application stand out. So you're going to include the progress monitoring data, whatever you're going to be able to use to show the effectiveness of your project. A few do's and don'ts. You're going to clearly, concisely state the need for the resources. You're going to align the proposal with the school's goals and priorities. So take a look at your school's goals and align your proposal. Provide data and evidence to support your request. One of the things that you don't want to do, you don't want to write one proposal and send it out to 50 grant funders thinking that, well, the more grant proposals are right, the better chance I have of getting a grant. You really want to tailor your grant proposal to the provider. Make sure that you adhere to any word counts that they have in their application and any budget limits set by their guidelines. And of course, don't use any student photos without signed parental consent forms. So step 5, you're going to plan the budget. You're going to create a detailed budget showing how the grant funds will be allocated. Sometimes grant providers will say, we will provide budget for a certain type of item and specifically exclude other types of items. Some grant providers will not provide any type of food, but they will provide other things that you need for your project. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you follow the format and the scope of the budget. Confirm the eligibility of the expenses you include and keep your dollar amount within the funder's limits. And the more detailed you are in writing your budget up front, the easier it's going to be when you get to the time of reporting after the end of your project. Step 6, make sure you review it for errors. It's also good to have a colleague proofread it. And not just proofread for grammatical or spelling errors, but also for content. And it's good to get feedback from a couple of colleagues about your plan and your proposal. And a lot of times if you talk over your proposal with other people, you end up with a stronger proposal to submit. I just received last week in the mail notification that the Laura Bush grant window has opened. And a quote, once a child learns to use a library, the doors of learning are always open. And I have links here for further research, just some, our spreadsheet. This is a list of the key funders for K-12 education according to Inside Philanthropy, and you can go and see what types of projects they fund. DEMCO has 9 steps for writing library grants. They have a lot of informative articles to give you tips and tricks on how to do that. And the annual register of grant support is available for use in the library system. And I'm going to look at the chat and see if there's any questions I need to answer. And Stephanie, You can take it over.
Okay, so any questions from Kimberly or anything for the good of the order that anybody has had experience with or would like to share out or ask any questions? Now is the time. Feel free to use the hand raise or unmute and share out. There's always money available somewhere. All right. Just remember that. Something else that that it's going to make it a little bit easier, I think, nowadays is using AI. Definitely, you can put in, "Hey, I'm running a grant proposal for my low-level readers. Please create a topic sentence for me to begin my grant," and you'll get different options. Of course, always switch it around and make it your own, so it doesn't sound so generic. But the use of AI and definitely Google Gemini will be a big help and time saver for you. Kimberly, can you answer the chat or?
I see that somebody wants to see grants that were awarded. I can share the grants that I was awarded. Do we have a place to compile other grants that anyone would want to share?
You can maybe make a tab on the grant opportunities sheet.
Okay.
If you guys, anybody else would like to share a grant that they've written up that has won, we will create sort of a sheet on the same grant opportunities, another tab that maybe says past winners. So make sure that you turn that into a Google document where they can be like a share link. Make sure it's view only so that people can just view what you've written that has won. And that's only if you want to. That's a great idea. Thank you. And we'll share that out in the recap email as well. Any other questions before we move on today? Okay. All right. So coming up in 2 weeks, I believe, we have the Read for the Record. I did talk to Jeannie with the Literacy Coalition for my elementary school friends. She's trying to play catch up with us being out in the hurricane and so many of the municipal governments working on their counties for the hurricanes. But people should hopefully be hearing soon with people reaching out to them to schedule their readers. But if you are participating and you need more information, there's information for you. And then hopefully you all should have already received your free book. Okay, we had a great PD yesterday. We are on to the next. Our next one on November 5th. It is voting day. So please make sure if you are going to attend that you have voted early or you do the vote by mail, but please make sure that your voice is heard and that you vote that day. Our theme of our next PD is for our secondary, middle school, and high school media specialists for you to collaborate with your social studies teams, your teachers, whoever, just so, again, we can build that collaboration and bridge between classroom and library. We have our social studies curriculum team coming over in the afternoon. We have Gail, Robin from Gail coming and providing lunch for everybody. Please invite your teachers. If they cannot make it in the morning, please suggest that they just come in the afternoon. But this is a great way for your teachers to see what is available to them through the district and through library media, so they stop asking you to vet their own materials. We're trying to help minimize that for you on the secondary level, especially for courses that don't have a scope and sequence type situation. The curriculum team of social studies is going to talk more about that and help the teachers minimize that work for you all. So it's going to be a great day. Please promote it. And hopefully you all can join us. Our 8430 order is due by November 22nd. Please make sure that you are making your selection by the deadline date. The deadline is November 22nd for you to select one item. We do have our normal laptop, Apple iPad printer options for you. We have added 2 instructional pieces this year. Well, 3 instructional pieces. You sort of have a podcast audio content maker setup that comes with microphones and headphones and the soundproof some things. But we also have, you'll get 6 Ozobots classroom kits, and then also Marty the Robot, who is one of my favorites. It comes with free curriculum, free coding programs for the students. You get 3 of those, and hopefully the kids can have fun with that. But please make sure whatever you're choosing by November 22nd, because it will be turned off.
Stephanie, can I add to that one real quick?
Sure.
Samantha, guys, for the Ozobots, I've been asked a couple of different times because of it being just 6 Ozobots. And some of the description says like 1 teacher to 2 students. But with the Ozobot, it's coding on paper instead of like writing a code. And it's a great way for students to start learning how to code. And plus they're just damn cute. Anyway, I've had Ozobots for years. I even have one personally. But think of it in a sense of it's not necessarily for just 2 students, because of the time strain that you have when you are actually with students in the classroom. Think of it more like 3 or 4 students per Ozobot. And also on their site, there are lesson plans. There's little cards that the kids can learn like little pieces. Do this one little thing, then to go on to the next thing. And the students are building as they're going. And it's pretty quick that you can just turn the kids loose and let them go. And then, of course, with lesson plans too, it will start teaching you how to do like STEM activities with it, storyboarding and stuff like that. So you may be getting 6 Ozobots, but think of it times 3 students or times 4 students. And then, so now you can think of, you've got a whole classroom set. When you thought, oh my God, I only had 6, you really have enough for like 18 or 24 students. So that's a great opportunity for that one too. The Marty's great too. With the programming, and I know that we did that at Symposium. And there's a lot of different ways that you can work with that one too. And it's, the little video on that one's just really cool, and to see how the kids can just progress through that one as well. So if you've got everything else, these are 2 great opportunities to jump on while we can actually add these 2 things to our 8430.
Absolutely. And again, we try to do different items every school year. So if there's an item that you saw last year, you didn't see this year, there will be a rotational at some point for the different items. Okay. But yeah, so just make sure that you make your decision by November 22nd. And if there's any issues or questions, feel free to reach out and let us know, and we can help you as soon as possible. Do not forget to tag us in everything that you are doing. We love seeing it. It's one of our, we don't get to be on the school side and see the student faces when they pick up books or when there's book fairs and things like that. So we love to see what's going on inside your media center and at school. So please make sure that you're continually tagging us if you are on X, which was Twitter, or on other social media sites. If you have not already, please make sure that you have joined Emma. It's a great opportunity not only for you to learn and to collaborate with other media specialists, but they have social events. They're advocating for everything that you're doing in the schools. So please, 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 if you have not joined yet, please do. Or if you have any questions or concerns or anything that you might need help with, reach out to them via the email, and somebody will contact you and get you started. They do have some shirts, I think, still available. So if you want a Library Squad shirt and you did not get one, please, again, email and reach out, and they might have one available for you. Again, Topical Tuesday runs as our PLC. So if you need points at the end of the school year, there's going to be, for all of the Topical Tuesdays, you'll earn 20 points. Please make sure that if you do need certification points, you have signed up an ELM for the course. You can look up Topical Tuesdays, Media Specialist, and the Topical Tuesday should appear. There's going to be one follow-up activity that sort of encompasses everything that we've done throughout the school year. So make sure that you do that, and that's not due until the end of the year. Okay, so next week, or next time on October 29th is going to be a fun one. We are going to be joined with Resource Depot and sort of having them discuss to us everything that they can do and they have, not only for STEM creation, but field trips and different things that maybe you can go and pick up for your areas in the media center. It's going to be very informative, and we are looking forward to seeing them and you on October 29th. So that is all that we have today. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop recording, and then